Selamün Aleyküm, Sabah al Khair. Welcome to our new video, and here we are having our breakfast from these breathtaking views from our hotel windows. It's a very bright, sunny, shiny day. The weather is so good, and we are going to go towards Beyoğlu, western side of Istanbul today.
اليوم شمس on full strike today. It's very sunny. But today it feels like it's a little bit too much crowdy over here.
Arkadaşlarım, bugün biz Beyoğlu gidiyoruz. Evvela Sultanahmet Meydanı'na gideceğiz. Oradan müzik kartı alacağız ve onlarla farklı tarih yerler gidebiliriz. Onlar alacağız. Sonra Beyoğlu, Galata, İstiklal Caddesi. Bugün bu popüler yerler gideceğiz. İnşallah dop dolu bir gün geçeceğiz.
Good stuff. Merhaba. قطة غائبة.
Here we are reached Sultan Ahmed Masjid, and today the weather is so beautiful. Al-Jaw Jamil Jiddan, subhanallah. And I love this way towards Hagia Sophia. I love the trees on the sides of the road. They look so beautiful. And that's Sultan Ahmed, and that's Hagia Sophia. Okay, so we have reached our first destination, and this is actually the counter for getting museum passes. Today we plan to visit the museums in Beyoğlu side, so we had to get our museum passes today. We also wanted to get our museum passes to visit all of the historical sites on this trip, so like Topkapi and all of the stuff. And today we are going to go actually visit Galata, so that's that.
أمس أكلنا الغداء في هذا الريستورانت في هذا المطعم.
As you can see here, this is our tram route towards Galata.
الآن نحن في ترام ملك برجر كينج.
وصلنا الآن نحن في إسطنبول الغربية.
The tram ride is over and now it's time to go to the Galata Tower. One thing about Istanbul is that going on a mini hike anytime you need to go visit a place, because it says like a 5-minute walk on Google Maps, but then it ends up becoming a mini hike because the place is a little bit elevated. Nihayet buradayız. So the Galata, Beyoğlu, all of these famous and picturesque streets that we always see online, standing in that place in real life was such a fulfilling moment. Çok şükür. On the entrance, because we had the museum card, we did not have to wait a lot. We just quickly scanned in our cards, and here we are inside on the first floor of the Galata Kulesi. Tiny windows having the perfect view of the whole city was just so cool and such a pretty view. They also had these interactive screens throughout, which were showing questions and riddles regarding famous places in Istanbul, and you had to answer them. So that was a really cool thing as well. The Galata Tower has great historical importance throughout different centuries. It was used for, it had military importance. It was also used as a jail in the time of Kanuni Sultan Süleyman. And then also the first person who flew took his flight from Galata to Üsküdar in the times of Murat IV, which we're going to show a little bit later. The top two towers were like the ones which were most crowded. So the first one was this one with big windows, and it had telescopes with which you could look throughout the city. And then the final, the top one, you could go in the balcony and have a look at the whole city, and it was just amazing.
Just look at this view, subhanallah, so breathtaking. The turquoise colors of Istanbul and the sky. Everything looks so beautiful. And in Istanbul actually there are so many masajid, like it's so not easy to know which one is which one. So maybe that's Sultan Ahmed, and that over there is Hagia Sophia, and maybe that's Yeni Jami or Salimania Jami. I don't know. لا أعرف. كل أسماء أصعب جدا أن نحن نذكر هذه الأسماء، لكن المنظر من فوق غلطة جميل جدا جدا. وهذا جسر Bosphorus, I think that's the Bosphorus bridge, and this is overall the view of, like, this is the view of Galata we come here for.
Tiny windows throughout the tower were my absolute favorite, because every time you would just look outside you would find an amazing perfect view of the city. So it also had many interactive screens outside. I always used to think that Galata is all about like the area when you're just gonna stand at the top and look at Istanbul, but on the contrary, it was filled with so much stuff: history, culture, screen showing animations of its historical importance. Also had a separate room dedicated to Mustafa Kemal Atatürk, and then also this room in which there was like an interactive screen where you could fly like Ahmet Çelebi, the first person who flew from Galata. On another floor, it had astrolabes and different astronomical instruments that were used when Galata was used as an observatory. On another floor, just like every other museum, there was a museum shop and it had traditional cultural Turkish stuff, so you could get like coffee cups, paintings, ceramics, tiles, clothes, and it was just really cool as well. And that's a wrap on visiting the Galata Tower, a place that turned out to be so much more than I expected and just totally left me awestruck with its magnificent views. Totally became one of my favorite places that we visited. And that was the time we go on a hunt for food. Here we came to Murat's Buffet, a place which was really known for its doner wraps, and we decided to try the chicken one and also the beef one.
The Galata Tower.
We absolutely fell in love with these streets, so incredibly beautiful. حببنا هذه الشوارع من أعماق قلبنا.
Now we are on our way to the next stop in Beyoğlu, which is the Galata Mevlevihanesi Müzesi. On our way there, strolling through the aesthetic Beyoğlu, it was completely 100% more beautiful than what we see in photos. Just like the dream vibe with bookshops, cafes, like cool aesthetic restaurants, old and modern architectural buildings, and also how can you forget to get the Turkish ice cream when in Turkey? So on our way there, we also stopped by this place, Kahramanmaraş Dondurma, to get the Turkish ice cream.
Kırılmaz sen Türkçe'ye ne öğrendin böyle maşallah? Ne öğrendin Türkçe'ye? Allah sen çok akıllı o zaman. Çok akıllı maşallah. İnşallah. YouTube videonuza selamlar Türkiye'den.
Here we are. So this is a museum out of hundreds of others in Turkey, which is basically like a compound of lodges of Maulana Hazrat, influencers, preachers, seekers, writers, teachers, artists, and more. So all of their work, their places, contributions of the Dervishes and Mevlanas were well preserved in this. And this great hall that you are seeing is actually the place where traditional and the well-renowned whirling motion of the Dervishes, inspired by the meditation of Rumi, all of those exhibits took place. So the rooms of different religious scholars of the time were so well preserved here. It had all of their instruments, books, and stuff they used back in the time still preserved. There is still so much more of this place that we could not film because of the restrictions, but you can see more information about this place on me and Mahin's Instagram stories.
İstiklal Caddesi'deyiz ama ben şoktayım, ne kadar kalabalık var burada, o yüzden geri dönüyoruz. Sultanahmet Meydanımız daha güzel.
On our way back, we also found this old art gallery called Divan Gallery, something like that, and it had old artworks from like 1700s, 1800s, and 1900s, old scriptures of the Quran, old letters, and just antique stuff that you could get, and I really like this place too. Also had some tea, and now we are in the Kadıköy, and here we had to catch a tram ride towards Sultanahmet.
After some rest at the hotel, now we're making our way towards Sultan Ahmed for dinner.
Selamün Aleyküm.
Selamlar. Selamlar. Hatırlıyor musun? Teşekkür ederim.
Hatırlamaz mıyım? Hoş geldiniz. Nasılsınız?
Biz evvela öğle yemek için geldik ve çok kalabalık oldu. Ama çok şükür akşam zaman, şu an saat 9 ve çok sakin içinde ben. Çok seviyorum bunu, sakin. Dönerimiz geldi. Bu yemekin adını bilmem ama çok lezzetli görünüyor. Afiyet olsun.
sonunda Ayasofya'ya geliyoruz. Sanırım Türkiye'de en sevdiğim yer bu. O kadar sakin ve huzurlu ki.
Evvela buradan geçiyoruz, gidiyoruz. Sonra cami içinde gidebiliriz.
Gecede Ayasofya'nın ışıklar La ilahe illallah diyor ve Sultanahmet'in Muhammed Resulullah diyor. İşte kalma bu şekilde tamamlanıyor.
Şimdi içinde gidiyoruz.
Bu cami içinde girmek gerçekten kesinlikle bir başka. Yani o his anlatamam. Hem bunalmış hem duygusal. Kendini çok farklı hissediyorsun. Anlatamam yani. I know about Ayasofya's history is that it was like a mosque and then a church and a museum, but then in Tayyip Erdogan's rule it became a mosque again in 2020. First thing you see when you enter is about the information about that.
Şimdi Ayasofya Camii içindeyiz. Çok eski bir yer ve çok güzel preserve yaptık. Buradan içinde gidebiliriz. Ama evvela ayakkabılar burada bırakacağız.
Selamün Aleyküm.
Hayatı gördüğüm en güzel, sakin, ruhunu yani heyecan veriyor bir manzara bu. Çok güzel ve ne zaman düşünüyorum ki bu o kadar eski bir yer, inanmıyorum. Sadece en iyisi. Burada kitaplar da alabiliriz. Size göstereceğim. Bu kitaplar almak ücretsiz. Din ve İslam hakkında çok önemli ve faydalı kitaplar bence. Size göstereyim şu an. Bunlar ve farklı diller için de var. Yani bence Spanish için, Arapça için, Türkçe için ve İngilizce için. Sanırım İngilizce herkes okuyor. O yüzden şöyle bunlar var. Çok farklı konular ve bence çok faydalı kitaplar. Işıklar çok güzeldi. Burada bir kütüphane var ve çok büyük bir yer. Şimdi otele geri dönüyoruz. Burada çıkış var oradan.